Course Project ITE6102 Handling Primitive Data Types. Introduction. Primitive data types in Java. Primitive data types in Java are predefined by the Java language and named as the reserved keywords. A primitive data type does not share a state with other primitive values. Java programming language supports the following 8 primitive data types. The number one is Boolean data, byte data type, int data type, long data type, float data type, double data type, char data type, short data type. In this section, we will discuss all the primitive data types. Primitive number types. Generally, the primitive number types are classified in two categories. Whole numbers. The whole numbers hold the complete number, positive and negative. For example, 170, 225 minus 170, then minus 225, etc. For those numbers, the valid data types are byte, short, int, and long. It depends on the number that which data type would be preferred. Floating numbers. The floating numbers are the numbers with a fraction part. These numbers have one or more decimal values for more 10, 25, 15, 25, and for these numbers, the valid data types are float and double. From From the all above data types, the int, double, and float are the most widely used data types. Before understanding the primitive data types, let's discuss the data types in Java. As its name specifies, data types are used to specify the type of data to store inside the variables. Java is statically typed language, which means all the variables should be declared before use. So we have to specify the variables type and name. A variable is declared as int a equals 1. Then the above statement acknowledge your program that a file a exists and holds in integer type data with value 1. A variable data type specifies the value of it. Contains data types in Java categories into two categories: primitive, non-primitive, non-primitive, and a non-primitive data type can be a class, interface, and array. Let's back to our main topic, primitive data types. Primitive data type in detail. What is Boolean data type? A Boolean data type can have two values can have two types of values which are true and false. It is to add a simple flag that displays true false conditions. It represents one bit of information. It's not a specify it it's it it is not a specific size data type, so we cannot precisely define its size. Example, boolean its GTP best equals true. Boolean is called equals false. System out print in is GTP best. System out print it is called. Byte type data. It is an 8-bit sign to complement integer. It can have a value of 128 to 127 inclusive. Below are the benefits of using the byte type data type. It is useful for saving memory in large arrays. It can be used instead of int to clarify our code using its limits. It saves memory too because it is for smaller than an integer. Example, by A equals 100, system out print in, then int data type. The int the int stands for integer. It is a 32-bit sign to complements integer. Its value can be from -231 to 231 minus 1, which is -32,768 to 32,600 to 32,767 inclusive. Its default value is 0. It represents an assigned 32-bit integer which has a value range from 0 to 32,767. If memory saving is not our primary goal, then the int data type is used to define the integer value. Example, int num 50,000, system out print in number. Long data type. It is a 64-2 complement integer with a value range of -2, then column 63 to column 63 minus 1. Inclusive, it is used for the higher values that cannot be handled by the int data type. Example, long 7000000 long, then system out print in. Float data type. The float data type is used to declare the floating values. Fractional numbers, it is a single precision 32-bit IEEE 754 floating point data type. Its value range is infinite. While declaring the floating, we must end the value with an F. It is useful for saving memory in a large arrays of floating point numbers. It is recommended to use float data type instead of double while saving the floating numbers in large arrays and not use it with precise numbers such as currency. Example, float number 5.75 feet, then system out print in number. Double data type. The double data type is also used for the floating point functional values number. It is much similar to the float data type, but generally it is used for decimal values like the float data type. Its value range is infinite and also cannot be used for precise values such as currency. The default value of the double data type is 0.0D. While declaring the double type values, we must end the value with AD. Double number 99.99 double system out print number. Char data type. The char data type is also an essential primitive data type in Java. It is used to declare the character values. It is a single 16-bit Unicode character with a value range of 0 to 65,535 inclusive. While declaring a character variable, its value must be surrounded by a single quote. Example, char my char column H, system out print in my char. The short data type is also used to store the integer values. It is a 16-bit sign to complement integer with a value range of 32 of -32,768 to 30,767 inclusive. It is also used to save memory just like the byte data type. It is recommended to use the short data type in a large array when memory saving is essential. Here, we have discussed all the primitive data types in Java. Other data types such as strings, classes, interfaces, arrays are non-primitive data types in Java. However, Java provides support for character strings using the string class of Java language, Java language package. String class has some special support from the Java programming language, so technically it is a primitive data type. While using string class, a character string will automatically create a new string object. For example, string Java key point is the best portal to learn Java. Short number 5000, system out print in. Default values of primitive data types in Java. In Java, it is not necessary to assign values while declaring. Every data type has some default values. If we do not assign a value to a data type, it will be initialized to the default values by the compiler. Most these are null or zero depending on the data type. However, it is not recommended to leave the variables to their default values. If you have declared a variable, then initialize it with some value, otherwise do not declare it unnecessarily. The below table is representing the data types with their default values. Data type: Boolean, byte, int, long, float, double, char, short. Default value false 000, long, 0.0 feet, 0.0 double, then U000, then 0. Then